So now that you've done this, you've probably completed the second dream, or if you haven't, you're kind of wondering what this is about. And while you were doing this, you probably started getting all these Warframe parts, some for Chroma, Ember, Gara if you've been doing Cetus bounties, Garuda if you've been doing Fortuna bounties, Ivara if you've been doing a lot of spy missions, Arrow chassis if you've been doing Void Relic runs, Loki, Mags, all kinds of Warframes. Now, what Warframes would I recommend for a new player, especially considering that you've probably only got like 2 Warframe slots? Maybe 3, possibly a 4th if you spend your platinum on them, and that is where I recommend you spend your platinum. The Warframes that I would recommend are kind of twofold. First off, I would recommend 3 Warframes. First off would be Mag. Mag is going to be your farming frame for when you're going to Saturn. That will change though when you go to Europa and you get the Raptors. Raptors are going to be somewhere over here. I haven't done Raptors yet because I haven't cared to. Because I haven't unlocked Sedna. Sedna is going to be the important thing. That's where you're going to get to Hydron here, which is where the quicker farming method is, because the enemies are going to be higher level, you're going to get more XP. Now Europa's going to get you Nova, and she's going to replace Mag if you do not care about Mag as a farming frame. Nova. Because Nova, the most important thing about her is her her 4th ability, her ultimate. Her ultimate is called Molecular Prime, and that's what we would use in conjunction with a mod called Overextended. Overextended being, if I can remember where it is, honestly. Here. This will reduce her ability strength, which is exactly what we want, because Molecular Prime has a unique effect with lower power strength, which increases the speed of the enemies. That means they come to you faster, which means you clear the level quicker. And the damage buff granted by her Molecular Prime is not affected by her power strength. So everyone does more damage, everyone gets it done quicker, everybody likes you. So that is why we swap over to Nova if you do not care about Mag as a farming frame, or at least when it comes to gaining XP and leveling weaponry. The second frame that I would recommend would be Chroma. Chroma becomes your weapons platform. If you have a good weapon, you don't need a good frame, or kind of. But effectively what happens is Chroma, thanks to his abilities, is a perfect weapons platform. You just stack power strength and a little bit of efficiency via streamline in the beginning, and you are good to go. Some continuity as well, or some power duration via continuity, and narrow-minded. If you have that, don't worry about it. He is perfect as weapons platform thanks to his Vex armor ability, increasing his weapons damage and his armor. So he is tanky, and using Elemental Ward on the fire configuration enables him to effectively regen health. So he is tanky, he does a lot of damage, he is perfect. He is also fairly simple to get, so long as you have at least halfway decent RNG to get the other Warframe parts required to build him. The final person I would recommend is Loki. Loki, solely for the fact that his invisibility is much longer than others, and you can use him for spy missions or anything of that sort when you're doing invisibility. The other option you could use is Ibarra, using her Prowl ability if you've been doing a lot of spy missions. She also is slightly more damage heavy, thanks to her Quiver ability. So there is that to consider if you want to go for Ibarra. Loki is easier, you just farm the Hyena pack on Neptune. and his invisibility duration is much higher and not a continuous drain like Ivar's Prowl. Those are the Warframes I'd recommend. Only those three. Most people will point you immediately towards a Rhino. I do not fault him for this. He is very good. His second ability, his Iron Skin, you just use power strength, and because it doesn't have a duration, you can go for the mod called Bleeding Expertise. This is a 60% ability efficiency and minus 60% ability duration at max, which means Rhino's roar ability will be nerfed slightly because it won't last as long. But you can offset this a little bit with a maxed out continuity, which is a 30% increase, so it'll be about half. So with those 3 Warframes, or if you have the Rhino, you will be able to clear most, if not all, of the content this game has to offer. The only problem you will run into is a defense mission frame. And for that, you have Frost or Gara. You can use, or I'll get to that in a second. But Frost or Gara. Frost is easier to get. You just farm Lich Krill and call it a day. Or not Lich Krill, Vor and Lich Krill, and call it a day. You put up a snow globe, don't have to worry about a thing. Now, you can use Gara if you farm Cetus bounties and you want to go that route. Gara is better because the enemies must interact with her glass wall. Enemies for Frost kind of just walk through it, but most enemies will shoot at the globe, and even if they're inside of it, they slow down. So it'll be fine. The final recommendation, which most people will point you towards anyways, because her prime variant is very cheap, and she can do pretty much everything, is Octavia. Octavia, her first ability, Mallet, will draw enemy fire, and will amplify the damage, all damage sent at it, from enemies. Which means the enemies kind of just kill themselves, because they will shoot the mallet rather than the objective, and kill everybody in that radius. So, Octavia is good. And then her third ability will turn her invisible. So, you got invisibility on her, you got damage, and because of that you got survivability, because the enemies won't be looking for you. So Octavia is good. If you can get her, most people will just tell you to buy the Prime variant with Platinum. And to get Platinum, what you're going to need to do is farm things people want. Those things being mostly Prime items. Lex Prime isn't very wanted, to say the least, because it's only a single target damage, but it is more than perfect for clearing your star chart. I have a Strun Prime. It's a decent enough shotgun, but it's a full Prime gun that came out recently. So it will sell for maybe 50, 60 plat, something like that. But enough to get me a catalyst if I wanted to pay plat for it, and a couple of slots. And with that plat, you could, if you grinded enough Prime items, you could also sell Prime items that are not fully complete or just random junk Prime items, such as my Nell Prime. I could sell this blueprint and the receiver for a couple of junk plat to people, if I so chose, via the trading chat, or more importantly through Warframe.com, or Warframe Market. For Warframe Market, you just look it up on Google, and that is where most people will tell you buy, sell, trade there. I recommend that as well. It is a much better place to find and sell items, because you just type in what you want to find, and you buy and sell there. It will also allow you to copy and paste a message to them, so that way they know where you came from and what you're trying to buy. So, if that is how you want to do that, go for it. I have a Nidus Prime. I farmed for it. I have it. Most prime frames are going to be much better than their non-prime frames, obviously. So I put mine with an Orokin reactor. As you can see, he has a lot of stuff. But that's not what we're here for, because you might have different prime frames or none at all. So the cape that you see me here with is totally free. I got it just by linking my Twitch account with this, and it gives your Warframe a little bit of fashion. The only thing that I purchased were these, and that was just because I wanted to put this account on the lowest possible area if you just spent your platinum on frivolous things and don't have the extra platinum afforded to increase the total amount of Warframes you have or weaponry. So I have the minimal amount that you could possibly have, but I will be selling that Strun Prime to increase my slots, to get a Nova, and to get the Chroma. Because for me, those are the two most important parts. They increase my farming speed, so I don't have to spend a whole lot of time doing things that aren't fun, and I can get back to playing the game with laser weaponry and infested guns, and a sword that's on fire. You know, the fun stuff. So those are the Warframes I would recommend. And I hope you all have a good time. If you want to see more stuff like this, don't forget to subscribe, and if you liked it, don't forget to like, honestly. So see all you 10 later.